Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. So, today I got a great video planned out for you guys. Today, I want to talk about how you may have a 90-day deal on buying gold. What do I mean by that? We're going to end up talking a little bit about something I'm probably not supposed to talk about, but you know what? I don't care. I have to talk about it today. The Trump tariff deal, which was supposedly the greatest thing in the stock market today. Everybody's talking about it. Oh, we made a deal with China. We got a great deal. This and that, this and that. Yeah, we didn't really get a great deal. Let's be honest. We put basically a pause on the tariffs. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about how it is affecting gold and silver already. A lot of people are saying, no, it's a deal. It's a 90-day pause as they're working on reaching a deal. A lot of people are jumping the gun on that, and the stock market was just phenomenal today as the Dow Jones up a huge amount, the NASDAQ up a huge amount, the S&P up a huge amount, and as you would guess, gold did get hammered a little bit, as you can see the drop right here and right here. So we did see gold get hammered down a little bit, but I think it's just a buying opportunity. We're going to talk a little bit about that in today's video. If you enjoy the video, please help me out by hitting that thumbs up button. I can't thank you enough for that. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and follow all of our great videos. We've got a lot of great videos out there. A special thank you goes out to all of our members. We had a great event this past weekend. I do plan on getting some of them coins shipped out to you guys this week for our members, so thank you so much. I'm still waiting on one person to reach out to me that did win, just so I can find out what he wants, whether it's the T1 or the T2, and I will be getting the other prizes sent out this week. So, okay, with that being said, let's jump right in. What's going on? So, real quick, let's take a quick look at the price of silver. Silver up right now, up almost a full percent, or sitting at 32.85 as it's starting to inch its way back up. Now, keep in mind, when people feel confident about the economy, silver almost always goes up. Why does it go up? Because it's a huge industrial metal, and gold is kind of just the opposite. It's not an industrial metal. It's more of a protection metal. But a lot of people will use silver as a protection. A lot of people I know are stacking silver. They're stacking gold. They're stacking both of them as wealth preservation. And some of them just tell me, down the road, when I'm old, retired, and I'll look back and what did I really accumulate? How much money did I save? I had someone tell me that the other day. They're like, I don't want to look back down the road like other people and, be, I don't know, not working and just struggling to make ends meet. They want to save money now. I hear people say all the time how they just spend money and stacking precious metals helps them save. And then on top of that, it goes up in value. That was originally what our founding fathers wanted. They wanted gold and silver to be a way to save money, to save your wealth. They didn't want essentially government to be able to manipulate a fiat currency. They wanted the money to be gold and silver because they understood that gold and silver was a way to protect your wealth. And it's something that has been kind of dumbed down in America. We don't teach it anymore. It's something that people more and more are forgetting. This generation does not teach the next generation, and little by little it falls behind. Some of the slogans may still be there. I remember my dad, who didn't know anything about gold and silver. I actually was the one that taught him before he passed away. But he would always tell me, he who has the gold makes the rules. And I look back at that saying, and back when I was a kid, you flash some money and, you want some money from someone, some dollars, hey, can I get a $20 to go do this or that or whatever for the weekend, go to the fair? And you hear that saying, he who has the gold makes the rules. What did you just teach that kid? You taught that kid that paper is gold. And it is very far from it. But it is true. He who has the gold makes the rules. Now, who has the gold? Well, we don't exactly know anymore who's holding the gold, but a lot of us in the community are stacking silver and gold. And when people say, well, the saying is gold, it's not he who has the gold and silver makes the rules. That is true, but silver is getting more and more expensive because it is a preservation of your wealth, and it's getting used up every day. So a lot of people are missing these little sayings that have been around forever. And so once you realize that, you start realizing that gold and silver is money, and you take advantage of opportunities. And right now, I mean, in my opinion, there is an opportunity. We were at $3,500 gold only a month ago. At the beginning of the year, we were at 2,700. So, I mean, we're still well up. We're still up like $500 on gold. However, we're down a little bit. And how long will it stay down? Keep in mind, every time some major story comes out that beats down the price of gold, what happens to it? Well, usually it gets bought back up in a nice swing. And a lot of people just don't see it. I mean, this is the ticker right here for gold. You know, imagine here when it hit 2790. I mean, and then it came all the way down to 25. I mean, I remember people complaining it's going to go back down under 2,000, on. And then it bounced up a little and then came back down and then fluttered. And then it started making its next leg up all the way up to 29.50. Came all the way down to 28.30 and started going up again. And every time we see these pullbacks, what happens? People miss the big boat. And here we got up to 3,500, and then we're bouncing around. And some people are saying, oh, that's that cup formation. It's going to go down. You're already seeing it there. And I don't personally believe that. What I believe is happening is just like we've seen here in November and December, and then we're going to see another push higher. And that's what I think is going to happen here. It's just going to take a little while. A lot of what's going on now with a 90-day pause on everything, people think the economy is fixed. People think the economy is better. Who was losing? What did they have to gain by this 90-day pause? Well, think about it. The stock market was getting destroyed. Clearly, the stock market had an amazing day today because people are convinced there's a gain, that there's a deal. And overseas, China, they were getting hurt too. Don't let anybody persuade you that China was, oh, they had it easy. China was getting hurt in this whole deal too because they're losing manufacturing. Yes, they don't need to accept our debt, our fiat currency for their products. However, they need to keep their people working. They've got industrial, they've got refineries, factories, that type of stuff. They need to keep production moving. They need to keep people employed. And so they want to keep them working. So it's in their best interest, too, to make a deal. However, tariffs, in my opinion, I don't really think they'll ever be able to pass some huge tariff on anything. Why? Because it's an advantage to us here in the U.S. to be able to print dollars and give them away and get real items. I mean, can you imagine if you could just grab a notebook and start writing down money, essentially, and just printing it out of thin air on your computer? You know, we call that fraud here in the U.S. So if I was to start printing money, that would be fraud. However, they can get away with it. But if we do it, it's illegal. If they do it, it's QE or debasing the money or whatever they want to call it, whatever fancy name they want to put on it. But clearly, it was an interesting day because I thought it was interesting that Bitcoin fell down a couple $1,000s. Now, here's the thing. With what's going on, I'm going to say that Bitcoin probably took that hit because I won't say it falls into the same category as gold because like I've always told you, gold is gold. Gold has been around since the beginning of time. However, when it comes to Bitcoin, a lot of people do look at Bitcoin as, unfortunately, a safe haven asset. They're missing the big picture about Bitcoin. However, they view it as a way to preserve their wealth too. Now, I think in the end, when this, I don't want to call it a Ponzi scheme, but I also don't really want to call it sound money. But when this Bitcoin does eventually have some major correction, and if you look back at the history, it has had corrections before that were devastating to a lot of people. And I would not be surprised if eventually that will happen again. But as of right now, we're seeing it pull back just a little bit because of what's going on. People think that the deal has been made, everything is going to be better, and that's it. But like I said, it's just a 90-day temporary thing. Now, what's going on with the DXY? Obviously, the DXY had a jump today. DXY is up to 101.65 with a potential 90-day deal or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised to see this slowly start climbing back up again, which will be great for gold. I mean, I'm on the fence of not even putting in any orders for the time being because, one, I put in a couple and I've already got them. Now, I saw the price come down. It's okay. I'm not in it for the short run. I'm in it for the long run. And I think in the long run, it'll get harder and harder because more and more people are alert to what's going on with gold. Gold is getting sucked up out of the system by somebody. Could it be everyday people like us? I like to think it is that Americans and that like everyday citizens are getting smarter to what's going on, but I'm not really entirely convinced of that. I think it's more the elites. I think it's more the central banks that are getting prepared for something big that's coming. And a lot of people are just going to miss the boat when it eventually happens. If they do a revaluation of gold, if they do a reset of the monetary system, who knows? I do believe something will happen. Will it happen tomorrow? I feel like they're trying to kick this can down the road. Now we've got a 90-day pushback on the tariffs, a rollback. I think with that 90-day pushback, that's giving them more time, and they're trying to buy time to keep the system afloat while they can do whatever it is they're trying to do. Now, I think they're trying to acquire as much gold as they can. I don't think China is stupid about this either. I think they know what's going on. China's also buying, but they're not just buying gold. They're buying resources. Every day that they have an opportunity to buy junk steel, junk jewelry, junk aluminum, junk whatever, junk copper from the U.S., they have the advantage. They're accumulating the resources needed to really withstand a big potential blow to the economy. Now, someone might make the argument, well, if the economy tanks, why do they need all those resources? Having the resources over the paper gives you a huge advantage. Here in the U.S., I think they're just trying to keep the dollar afloat as long as they can until they're prepared. Everybody has a different strategy. I think Trump's strategy is buy up gold, kick the can down the road as much as we can. If we reset the system, essentially reset the debt, where do I think that will happen? I think there's a good chance that it could happen before the halfway point of Trump's term. Why? Because if it happens at the halfway point, he has 2 years to get a new system up and running with no debt. And if something like that was to happen, that would be a game changer. Now, can he get reelected? No, he can't be reelected. However, he could put one of his sons in. There's a lot of things he could do. And by put in, I mean if people are happy with what he's accomplished in 4 years. He's still only been in office for less than 6 months. So let's be honest about what's going on. Whether you like the guy or you don't like the guy, he's trying to make a name for himself, I believe. And he's trying to protect the system from collapsing because a lot of us know the system is collapsing. China, what does China have to gain? China has to gain. They know what's going on. They know eventually that the dollar is going to collapse, and they're trying to spend as much as they can, loan it out to different countries, the dollars, let them spend those dollars, and then the payback is paid back in a tangible item. Let's hypothetically say you owned a pizza place, and I make you a deal, and I sell you something, and I tell you, you can pay me in one pizza every week for the next year. Now, should I be talking like this? Probably not, since I just had a minor heart attack not too long ago, or major chest pains. I took an EKG yesterday, and they said that, yeah, there was something that happened. I got to go to a cardiologist next week. Needless to say, making that kind of a deal with you, I'm banking that I know the pizza price is going to go up. I know food price is going to go up by the next year. A year from now, a pizza is going to cost me more money than today. So by making that deal with you, I'm taking something that is going to be more expensive down the line. If I just take cash, a cash payment like a house or something, like, okay, I buy a house, I make a standard payment every month. Well, it gets easier and easier to pay that payment at the end of a 30-year note. Why? Because those dollars are a little easier to come by. Inflation. It doesn't matter if you're getting Social Security, you get a cost of living increase. It doesn't matter if you're getting a retirement, a disability, you're getting a COLA increase. It doesn't matter if you're working for a job, you're probably going to make more money in 30 years from now than you're going to make today. And so that's why with the deals that China's making deals where we want this much in coffee beans every month for the next so many years. Well, coffee beans go up in price. Everything goes up in price. But it doesn't matter what happens to the price of coffee beans because they're locked in on a set amount of coffee. So once you realize what's going on, you realize everybody gains from kicking the can down the road. Because eventually, when it collapses, they don't want to be left holding the bag. Who do you think is going to be left holding the bag? We are. We're going to be left holding the bag on this. And it's going to happen to our savings account. All this time, we think we've been getting richer because our 401ks maybe been going up. Our gold and silver has been inching up. There's no stopping that. And our stocks have been going up, and virtual assets like Bitcoin have been going up, and it makes people feel wealthy. And if you sell them any of them assets, well, Uncle Sam gets a nice tax on it, so he don't mind. Capital gains is great for him. And, where do you put your money? You spend it into the system, whatever you do. Some of us are stacking precious metals because we understand by putting it into precious metals, it's giving us the upper hand. It's giving us the edge. And once you realize that, then you understand the whole point of why we're stacking precious metals. Moving on, taking a quick look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones sitting at 42,410, up a whole 1,160 points, or 3% almost today. A phenomenal day for the stock market. But like I said, all that really revolves around pretty much the amazing deal that has been struck between the U.S. and China. Now, personally, like I said, I don't think it's been struck. It's just a 60-day temporary kickback. NASDAQ also having a phenomenal day, up almost 4.5%, 18,708 points, up a whole 779 points. It looks great right now. Be very careful. We've seen these big jumps, and then we've seen it fizzle back down. And then we see a big jump, and then we see it fizzle back down. Don't be surprised if in a month from now you hear them start talking about the whole tariff thing again. And obviously this video is a video that I'm not worrying about saying the T word. I know it's a hot topic that we're not, I don't know. I won't say we're not supposed to talk about it, but it feels like videos that it comes up don't do very well. So hit that thumbs up button because it really does help me out. S&P. Most people's retirement plan is in the S&P. Up a whole 3.25%, 184 points, going all the way up to 5,844. A phenomenal day. And like I said, obviously all the big gains today and the drops in gold, I believe, are directly associated with the 90-day. I'm not even going to call it a deal. I'm going to call it a 90-day pause, which is exactly what it is. It's a 90-day pause. It even says it on that article right there. But they're not going to tell you that. What they're going to tell you is hype it up on Friday. We made a great deal. We hear about it over the weekend. Deal's been struck. Hurry up and buy stocks now. Don't be surprised to see some sort of a little bit of a pullback tomorrow when people realize the stock market has been overbought on a 90-day pause. Now, will it happen? I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't care. I hope the stock market keeps going up. People can feel richer and richer because when people feel richer, they don't pay attention to what's really going on. And it kind of bums, but it kind of makes it a little easier on us because it gives us the opportunity to stack more and potentially be in a better position down the road for ourselves and for our family. With that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Not a very long video today. 20 minutes. That's not bad. Going to end the video here. Please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button if you didn't. Check out some of our other great videos. I think it's important that people understand the full fundamentals of stacking gold and silver. Look for opportunities. Look for deals where you can. I actually was at my doctor's today, and I was sitting next to an older lady, and she said when her dad passed away, she had a big chest full of coins that she found under the bed. She's still holding them. Where can she go? She goes, where can I even go to sell those? And so I said, you know what? Consider giving me a call. I'll help you out. Don't be quick to take my offer. Don't be quick to take anybody's offer. Just a small conversation like that with someone could generate a good lead. And once you realize that, then you realize there's a lot of opportunities out there. I did tell her that, honestly, your dad understood that silver is money, and that's why he was holding it. And when he was buying that silver, it wasn't worth anything near what it's worth today. And in 20 years from now, it's going to be worth even more, in my personal opinion. So I wouldn't sell it unless you need the money. But if you are really thinking about selling it, give me a call. Let me tell you, and I'll talk to you a little bit about it. If you don't feel comfortable, shoot me a text picture, a couple pictures of some different stuff, and I'll give you some ideas, and then go from there. I tell people I would never sell all of it. Actually, there's one member of the channel. He told me, he actually messaged me. He found the video, couldn't understand why his dad was buying all this gold and silver and just sitting on it. And he asked me if I wanted to tell his story. Maybe I might do a video on it. But needless to say, he didn't understand. He wrote to me. I told him I wouldn't sell it, bro. I said, yeah, I'll buy it off you if you want to sell it, but I wouldn't sell it. And he decided to keep it. And he said it has changed his life. In the 1 year, it has changed his life. And I might talk more about that story in an upcoming video. But it really does. It really does. I mean, if he was going to sell it, he was going to sell it. He asked me about it when silver was at like $23 an ounce, $23 an ounce. I mean, now you're talking $33 an ounce. That's like a 50% gain. His wealth exponentially climbed. And while his dad had it, it probably just kept going up and up in value. So I'm going to wrap up here. I thank you all for watching. I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk tomorrow. I do videos every day. I do short videos every evening, and I go live once or twice a month. So with that being said, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.